Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pitch Stage 3 here at Web Summit. Thanks for getting up nice and early to come see some pitches today. My name is Seth. I'll be emceeing for us today. I come from a startup called Feedzai. We're actually based here out of Lisbon. It's where we started, and now we're 10 years in, growing to about 500 employees worldwide. So it's exciting to be back here and back on the pitch stage. So for people who don't know how this works, we've got 7 teams up here who are pitching in kind of a pitch battle. They're going to be judged by our panel of esteemed judges, and then at the end, we'll announce who the winner is. So before I go any further, let me just introduce our judges here. We've had a slight change of judges, making sure only the best are here for us today. So we've got Philip Stauffer from Firefly VC, Alf Franzoni from Siemens Portugal, and Joe Altendorf from Dantons. So our judges will be looking at 5 things today for our teams. We've got product, potential to disrupt, financials, team, and quality of pitch. So everybody can be looking for those 5 things as well. So without further ado, let me call up our first startup today. Introducing Kevin from Truthify.
Digital communication reduces our daily interactions to 3-word text messages and binary sound bites. Repeatedly, we exchange accuracy for efficiency, and in the process, have lost the emotional context. But what if you could find out how someone actually feels when you deliver your message, story, product, or idea? What would that be worth? Hello, my name is Kevin Knull, CEO and founder of Truthify, the first emotion AI-enabled mobile application to identify authentic emotional reactions and engage the audience and compensate that audience for their emotional data. We set out to do 3 things. First was to add the emotional context to digital communication, to help brands gain insight and deeply engage their audience, and last but not least, compensate that audience for their rightful data, the rightful owners. How it works is really simple. Simply upload or record your video, share the video with others. The recipients will watch your video, and then both can view the results. While the recipients watch the video, our app analyzes the movement of 43 muscles in each person's face 14 times per second and translates the movement of those muscles into emotions. These muscle movements are universal across age, gender, ethnicity, and language, and the results are over 95% accurate. The anonymized results are displayed for both user and recipient and provide a deep insight into the emotional response at any given moment in the video. The recipients can choose to share their identity if they so choose. Earn Per View, an opt-in feature we will release shortly, compensates the viewers for their emotional reactions to sponsored videos. This provides brands a viral marketing solution that provides a level of insight far beyond any pay-per-click or advertising solution that exists today. There are endless use cases for Truthify, whether for advertising, product placement, especially lead generation, polling, and A/B focus group testing. Heck, last night at a Web Summit event, a woman used the app to find out if I was attracted to her, which was really interesting. We are completely self-funded, but we'll raise capital later this year. We started the company a year ago, launched our beta in July, have over 15,000 users globally, and will release the production version by year end. We are seeking capital to scale up quickly and are in current conversations with Fortune 500 companies. Next time you're wondering how someone actually feels, don't guess, Truthify it. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Kevin. Do you mind if I go first? I mean, I like the product. I'm just wondering, are you only thinking of this as, you know, an app between people who are voluntarily doing this, or are you planning that in the future this technology might be embedded into other bits of software so, you know, businesses can, if you like, monitor and track the the success of the videos or content that they're putting out?
Yes, so we really have two different use cases. We have the social use case that was really launched as the beta test to see how people received it. But the design of the model favors brands who want a very simple and easy way to integrate the solution and use all of their current systems. So it's built in order to facilitate exactly what you described.
Yeah, I assume that was the case. You're just kind of testing it at the moment.
Yes.
And I'll just one more, which is, can you tell us more about who the background of you and your co-founder as to how you produce this and what your experience is and so on?
Yes, my co-founder and I each have over 20 years experience in financial technology and financial services. We've partnered with the global leader in the emotion AI technical space that spun out of MIT. We have the protection of 16 US patents and an additional 36 pending US patents and another 6 foreign patents to protect the idea.
Great. Quick question on how many, or what was the feedback from potential customers who would then actually pay? I'm sure you reached out to them.
So we have yet to have a single customer say they would not participate if they were able to be compensated for watching a video. Not one. 100% of them said that they would participate and watch videos to get paid.
Users.
Users.
What about businesses who would use the system?
Good question. So right before I got here, I checked the current cost per click for Google AdWords in the insurance industry. The insurance industry is currently paying up to $50 per click, and all they get is a click. They get nothing else. Whereas we provide the information about the user, the gender, the location, how they felt as they watched the video 14 times per second, which is a substantial amount of information beyond what the others are providing, and we do so at a fraction of the cost. We met another company that said they'll average 5,000 clicks per $100,000 campaign. We could probably offer 100,000 clicks with all of that additional information for the same amount of money.
Can you just, can you just speak, let's say, 10 seconds about your financial model?
We are pre-revenue right now. Our production version that will be revenue generating will occur at the end of the year. And the conversations we're having, these firms are talking about spending between 100,000 and multiple millions per campaign. So we're in this stage right now where we decide to take outside capital, or do we just go ahead and fund it with the revenue that's expected here soon?
Great. I think we're almost up. Maybe one last question. The feedback from advertisers, what was your key learning there?
Well, the initial feedback or concern was that we were going to displace them. We built this model not to disrupt, but not to displace, rather to enhance the current advertising channels. So the model is built to compensate the agencies and the influencers as part of the process. And then we're compensated by taking a portion of that earned per view campaign fee. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, getting started. Thanks again for the questions from the judges. Just a reminder for how this works, that we have 3 minutes for the pitch itself and then 3 minutes for the questions from our esteemed panel. So let's get started with our next startup. We have Alexander from fácil.
All right. My name is Alexander Richter, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of fácil. Think of the last time you stayed at a hotel. One thing is that you've been traveling all day, stressing around at the airport, standing in lines. When you finally reach your final destination, your hotel, there's another line, and even more standard procedures. You're just sick and tired. You just want to go directly to your room. But luckily, now there's a solution for that. It's called fácil. It allows you to easily organize your hotel stay right from your smart device. It's basically an app where you can check in prior to arrival, meaning that you just skip the lines, and skip the queues, and skip the reception, and go directly to your room. And of course, you don't need the plastic cards anymore. You just open your door with your smart device. Because these plastic cards is generating 1,300 tons of waste every year. Just because you and me, we don't care to deliver our plastic cards after checkout. And the benefits for the hotels, there are many. They will now reduce the hotel staff in the reception. They will get a better customer reviews. and they will get a greener profile because of the plastic cards, and they will be more ready for the mobile generation, and they will get more insights for the customers, and of course, they will earn more money and sell more because of our ordering platform in the app. And just to spice it all up, we are delivering the world's most accurate position technology out there using Bluetooth technology. Meaning you order food and beverages and get it directly to your position, even if you're on the move. And that's pretty unique. Our business model is a software as a service. The hotels pay 3,000 euros per hotel and a monthly fee of 3 euros per room. So it's affordable for everyone. And of course, I would never have been here today if it weren't for these great guys. I got 4 senior developers, 1 graphic designer, and our very best COO that managed our developer team in Minsk. Everyone working together for one vision, to get one solution for every hotel. And I would never have been here today on this stage if it weren't for these great guys. They don't only heavily invest their money in the project, but they invest their time for us to reach new markets, new milestones, each and every day, each and every month. And if you've got a couple of millions laying around, please come talk to me, because we need to increase this team. And I think they have a lot of fun, because the market is pretty huge. It's 19 million hotel rooms worldwide. We're going to get 2.5% of that in 2 years, giving us 475,000 hotel rooms. This is giving us 17 million euros recurring revenue. This is in 2 years, guys. Imagine what we can do in 5. Because we're not only here to change, but we are here to revolutionize the way we stay at hotels. My name is Alexander Richter, and the next time you stay at a hotel, choose fácil. Thank you so much.
First question.
Yes.
What's your go-to-market strategy? So you said you want to increase to 2.5%. How you manage this growth?
Yes. So right now, we got customers in Norway. We're starting on the small hotels, single hotels, just to get the proof of concept. So we got that now. We just landed our first international deal, which is a chain outside in Bulgaria. So we're starting off the small hotels, getting the proof of concept, and now we're going to the bigger chains. So we're starting off now getting chains with 45 hotels. We're talking to 200 hotels, and we're starting to increase the number of hotels in the chains, because we're in the end goal is to get to the chains.
The expectation of your business case, is it fulfilled so far?
If it's, sorry.
The expectation of your business case,
Yes.
is it fulfilled so far?
Yes, we have tested this product at 1 hotel in Norway. We're launching the full version now next month. But we have tested check-in, check-out, and they reduces their time in the reception. The receptionists are really happy because they don't have to have just standing and pressing in their information, credit card information. They can now get more face time. They can now see you as a customer because you've done all that before you get to the hotel. So they get better service. The customers are really happy using the system. And of course, they can now see that they gain more money because you can order a sandwich before you come to the hotel and it's already in your room. So they can see it both. They earn more money. They get better services. So, and this is just the check-in, check-out part, opening doors. But we're starting to implement more features like the indoor mapping system and so on. So yeah.
Is this replacing anything the hotel already has, or is it in addition to what is already in place?
What we do is integrate into every property management system, which is the booking system and the door lock systems. So what we do is we just deliver our solution on top of their solutions today. So we have no hardware. They have to install or upgrade the doors to BLE as Bluetooth. But when they have that ready, we are already integrated. So we integrate into all the different property management systems and the door lock systems. So for a hotel, it takes a couple of hours to be open. We just need their APIs for the systems. So they don't have to throw away what they invested already.
Yep. Yep.
And what does the competitive landscape look like for you guys? Because I think I've heard of a company that's doing something similar called Muse. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, there's definitely companies working around this area. But what we're doing now, what we see in different competitors is that they have hardware installed in the hotel. They got iPads. They got all the different things where all the check-ins go through the iPad, and they have to punch it in their own system afterwards. So it's more work for the receptionist. But we're taking the long way. We're integrating all the different systems. It takes a while. Oracle, oh wow, they're huge. And it takes like 5 months to get into that. But we do it because we want it to be easier for the hotels. We want to quit all the standard procedures. We want to make it easier for both you, both the receptionist and you as a guest. Yes.
What's the size of your of the ideal chain, hotel chain, that you think is adopting this?
The ideal chain, I mean, is bigger is better because it's a growing business model. But now we're working towards like 200 hotels, 300 hotels. It's easier to get in because when it's Marriott with 10,000 hotels, we have to go all the way around, and it took a while because before we get into the real decision makers. But an ideal hotel is probably 200 to 300 hotels because it's easier for us to get in and access to the decision makers. Yeah.
Got it.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, well, if you're like me, we probably spend a lot of time in hotels. We can see that that's definitely an area ripe for disruption still. I see a lot of people here standing around. If you guys want to fill in, welcome to come into this purple space inside of here. You don't stand so far away from us. All right, let's get off with our next person up. To tell us about choices, we're welcoming Gordian from ODE.systems.
Thanks. Hello. Actually, I would like to ask you one question. How many decisions have you done when you stood up? So who decided on kind of what to wear, what to eat, having breakfast, no breakfast? You might have even had the choice to think about, are you getting married, having children, quit your job, go to university? So there's a lot of things that are going on in this area. And actually, there's even more if you think what brought me to the stage. I quit my job. I left my company. I founded 10 years ago to start something new that I'm discovering now for almost 10 years. And it's all about the problem of decision making. So you have a huge problem when it comes to the diversity of options. So there's a huge diversity of options, and that doesn't give us any kind of freedom. In general, it makes us more like tired, it makes us more uncomfortable. And if you think about the geographical dispersion, it's even getting worse because people are working in teams that are not located on one spot. So how to integrate diversity that you set up and bring it to a place where every voice is heard. And in the end, it's all about like what is the distraction. So there's a lot of noise in the social media, and we would like to reduce this noise and make it more meaningful. So ODE is actually a tool that supports people, individuals, to make more meaningful decisions. If you had one of these sentences in your mind, you are definitely a client of ODE in the future. So we have this statement from 500 millennials that we did research on worldwide. And this is how we solve the problem. We will provide a full range of decision-making processes. We will have sharing features integrated to have your relatives, your friends, your experts in. We will include iterative features to go back and forth because you get some recommendations and you would like to include them into your decision-making process. And in the end, we have a visual consolidation. So an easy way to see what is the best decision for you. Continuous learning is something we will integrate in the later stage. And if you see, we actually kind of have a single to multiple user and a binary to complex approach. We secured seed funding in the beginning of this year, and we will increase our customer base from 50,000 to 45 million in 5 years, based on a total addressable market of 2.3 billion people. The small team actually is very well equipped in terms of experience, in terms of cultural differences, and we have a lot of advisors from all over the world to start our business in India first next year, and then start with Americas and business applications. And now the last decision is on you, and I'm happy to receive your questions.
Scaring stuff, to be honest. So one of your decision proposals was, have you been in a position to get married? And can you walk me through the process, how this would work? And is there also a guarantee that the marriage will work for the next couple of years?
We make it likely to work. Let's say it. So actually, we are not starting to take the decisions from people. We have a guided process that we use and that we've developed over a couple of years out of all the existing models of decision making, because there's hundreds of them. Our idea was to get it out of the minds of the millennials. And once you have it out of your mind, you can actually kind of discuss every criteria. So that is actually the first thing you put in. You group this criteria into aspects. And with the weighting of both, you can actually, with the sharing feature, discuss with your friends, with family. And that's something that's really amazing. So with our research, we found out that the millennials from the US all the way to India, China, there is no differences in how they take decisions. The only difference is the amount of people involved coming from family. So if you go more to the east, it's more family. If you go in Europe, more south, it's more family. But all the rest of the countries is more like friends, very limited friends, but experts.
And it's an interesting idea. Did you measure already with a pilot on whether or not people made better decisions or not?
That's something we are actually kind of about to do. We did it on paper. But it's a different process if you do it on paper or if you do it on an app. So, but actually I'm using, and a lot of my team is using the system to make decisions about our company. And until now, I think we have pretty much succeeded on a positive level.
I mean, that's what I would recommend to do, because if you build the app, that's an easy way to go and validate actually if it works with people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can have your baseline and then see if people made better decisions or not, or if at least they feel they made better decisions.
Yeah.
With the Marriott, you only know after a few years.
Can I just ask some questions on the financials? So can you explain to me more about how the product is monetized? And then I'm a little bit concerned when you say the total addressable market is 2.3 billion people, given that that's an awfully large percentage of the world.
Yeah, so it's actually 2.3 billion people is the smartphone users. We kind of reduced it to it's 40% millennials. Out of this 40% millennials, we did a research and a market evaluation in 5 markets that we would like to address first. And we even reduced the market to a very kind of low number. That's why the first number is 50,000. Which is, for example, in India, it's really how to kind of decide for your university. It's one of the biggest issues if you want to do university in India or abroad, and the decision is going that way. In terms of monetization, just quickly, it's a freemium, but then you have a pro version for $4.99, which is 415 rupees. And that's an accessible and acceptable position.
All right. I'm afraid we're out of time. Sorry. Do you want
Just quickly on customer acquisition costs, do you have any numbers there? Or did you do any tests there so far in different markets?
Say it again, please.
On customer acquisition cost, how much it costs to acquire a user?
Yeah, so actually, with the initial cost of acquisition, we have roughly about 90 euros per customer. But this is just the beginning, so it's just like the higher costs on the entrance market.
Got it.
Thanks.
All right. And just a reminder for everybody, that's not just about the product or the potential to disrupt. It's also about financials, the team, and of course, the quality of the pitch. So let's get moving right along. For our next pitcher here is Petr from Angie Technologies.
Good morning. My name is Petr, and I'm Chief Strategy Officer at NG, the company which is changing the way how people experience and use home security, like Netflix changed the way how we're watching movies. We have over 1,000 customers who were acquired through Kickstarter, and we recently launched our innovative subscription service in US, generating 100% recurring revenues. Security at homes is actually a complex problem because it's not only about intrusions, as there are far more hazards, like fatal falls, house fires, and others. And yet, 75% of American households are not using any technology to protect and secure their homes, and that number is even higher in developed countries worldwide. That's why NG developed easy-to-use solution, which is combining cloud, smart hardware, and online services to address the need of the customers who are looking for complex yet convenient plug-and-play solution to control and protect their homes. NG is using various sensors to recognize when people come and leave in order to take appropriate action, embedded technology to cover different hazards whilst protecting their data and privacy and their homes. NG is currently uniquely positioned in the market as is the only cloud subscription service in the home security space with full automation and privacy features. We launched our subscription service in the US, which we're selling online and through our retail partners, addressing our specific segments like apartment renters, elderly living alone, or secondary homeowners. And we will scale internationally through B2B licensing to telcos and other strategic partners. Our team is combining engineering talent and seasoned sales and marketing professionals like former executive of Target and Best Buy or a managing director of Europe for Ring. We are about to acquire 1 million households in next 4 years and generate 200 million in subscription revenues annually. We are currently raising 3 million in our Series A to continue to build our market traction and join us to change the home security forever. Thank you.
So my first question is going to be about how does one set this up in the sense of we'll have all bought products. I've had a Wi-Fi camera in my house, you set it up, it's problematic. But yours is going to be more complex than that because you're going to want to make sure I'm monitoring the right bits of my house. I can't just put it anywhere. You want to make sure I haven't left blind spots and so on. So how do users effectively set up this system without the expertise when they just buy it out of the box?
Yeah, that's actually an important element. The easy setup, which takes actually 5 minutes using a mobile app. So mobile app is actually guiding you through what you should do. So you don't have to read any manual, you don't have to remember anything. Using QR code to connect to your Wi-Fi, using some automation in order to recognize where actually various elements in the households are. And also what is important to say, we're not competing for the big houses. That's not our market. Our market are actually apartments, condos, and mostly renters, because renters do not like to buy anything, because they don't know whether they will be renting the same space 6 months later. Because the very important aspect of our service is it's subscription service. You don't buy any hardware. You don't have to worry about hardware. It's delivered as a part of the service. You use it as long as you want, and you return it, or actually we pick it up once you stop using it.
What is the back office behind? So the application will find out there's some issue. What are the next steps then?
Yeah, there is actually a high level of automation. So we utilizing various sensors and then in cloud various algorithms to recognize what's going on in order to be able to recognize whether there is something which is threatening and someone needs to take the action, which can be you, or actually in the future we'll be introducing what we call emergency response service, which is that you will be able to leave to the third party to take the action in such a situation. We improving those algorithms as we're getting more data from our users, as we enhancing the functionality and also covering more hazards. To just give you an example of hazard which might not be obvious, and which is the use case which we identified, is when there are parents living alone, especially if it is just single parent. What family wants is to know when there is potentially something happening. So what we're using is actually the negative recognition, which means we're recognizing that there are regular movements, and once this is not happening, we actually will notify the family that potentially, someone fell or is ill, and so on and so forth.
How does the pricing compare to the big market leaders like ADT in the US, where you pay like, I think like an average system, $600 to $1,000 upfront, and then it's a $50 monthly fee?
You actually helped me a lot. There is no upfront. You pay in the US right now $16 per month, and that's it. You don't pay anything upfront. That's $16 per month.
And nothing upfront.
Nothing upfront. Okay. That's a big differentiation. Second, no installation. No one is entering your house. What we actually found that a lot of customers, 75%, are not actually using the traditional home security because they don't like the idea of installation. They don't like the idea of people coming through their homes. They don't actually like the idea to be relying on other people. So that's why we came with this subscription service, which is actually making it very easy. You order online, or you actually buy it through our retail partners. You activate it within 5 minutes, and that's it.
And then how long I have to sign up for it in order to?
You can cancel any month.
Anytime.
Anytime. We are confident that our service is so good that we're not worried about it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I was just looking at Angie's website. It says that a burglary happens every 13 seconds, and each burglary on average is over $2,000, it said, so that's quite a plan for $16 a month, I'd say. All right, next up is Subit, and just a reminder for everybody that we have 3 pitches left, and after this, stick around because then we'll get to announce our winner from stage. Welcome, Subit.
Hey, Lisbon. I'm so happy to be here. Have you ever tried that your kid come home from school and tells you that he had a substitute teacher once again, and all they did was watching a movie? My name is Philip, and I know the feeling myself. I've been a substitute. I've been teaching kids in German and French without even knowing the language. I'm not the only one with this experience. Almost 20% of all teaching in Europe is performed by unskilled substitutes. Luckily, there's a solution. I've selected the perfect team to conquer this challenge. At first, we have Emil. He's the tech genius of the company. He's the one making all this possible. Next to him, I have Kim. He's the captain of the ship. He controls everything from A to Z. Last but not least, we have me, and I'm responsible for everything regarding sales, customers, and marketing. But back to the solution. We have proven in Subit that making automated planning of substitute teachers combined with the intelligence of our system, we can create better substitute lessons. The formula is simple. It's all about using substitutes where they have knowledge and know-how to the kids. Seems easy, right? So why don't schools already do this? Well, imagining being a school. In the morning, you get 10 sickness employees calling in, and it gives you 50 lessons to cover. It's totally impossible finding the perfect match for the lesson by then to call the teacher or the substitute teacher to ask if they have time to cover you in. Well, it doesn't stop here. We at Subit give schools and the public a unique insight of their performance. Everything from money spent to targets achieved can be tracked in the system and measured between schools. This gives a total transparency to all levels. So what's interesting now is the market. We at Subit have existed for 2 years, and we have completed making our vision come true for 120 schools and more than 85,000 students, all located in Denmark. With a revenue model of €5 per student per year and a market cap of 155 students just in Europe and the US, the potential is huge. Additional to this, we have already located 10 other industries with the same problem as the schools that our intelligence can be used in. So the next time you think substitute planning, please think Subit.
Did any schools use it so far, and what was their feedback?
Well, the feedback is great. What we did is that we added, all schools in Denmark and the rest of Europe, they have something free today, and that's their time. So they do this process manually. So we're coming in and we're taking money to solve this better. But actually the response is good. We have in 6 months succeeded in getting 120 schools on the platform, and no one have left it yet. So the response has been great.
And they're paying for it?
Yeah, they're paying €5 per year per student. Everyone.
Got it.
How much can they typically reduce in the effort in the universities or in the schools?
Well, as it is today, schools uses in average 2 hours a day during this planning. Okay. When school use our system, the top guy using the most time in our system, he uses 10 minutes a day. That's the top, that's the max. So they are not only rising the quality, they're also saving a whole lot of time.
And so I'm trying to work out whether you're acting as like an agency, so staff sign up to your, in effect, substitute teacher job agency, and then this app is a way for the school to access people on your agency records, or whether you're just a software provider and they put their own staff onto the app.
Thank you for mentioning it, because I've got it. But one thing that are very important about what we do is that this staff is the schools. So we don't bring on new people. We use the people they already have, we just use them in a better way. So for instance, if I was a substitute, instead of using me in German and French, use me in Danish or math, where I have competences. So it's all about doing the right puzzle under pressure and uses the intelligence of the system to help you.
Coming back to the business case,
Yeah.
if you go to a school, how do you approach this?
Well, we don't sell to schools. We sell to municipalities, as it's called in Denmark. So instead of selling to 2,000 schools in Denmark, we sell to 98 municipalities in Denmark. This makes the onboarding process much easier because we don't have to visit so many customers all the time. We do it online, and we have 98 meetings a year with 98 customers.
You mentioned you run some analytics on objectives achieved. How do you actually do that? Like teaching objectives, or what type of analytics can you run?
We track 85 different KPIs. It's all from how big a percentage of the lessons are taken by a substitute with competences. Another criteria is how high a percentage is lifted by the same substitute. Imagine you being a worker and you had a new chef every day. It's all about using the right people, the right places, the same times.
Got it. Okay, great.
Do you monitor any feedback from the students or from the parents?
At the moment not, but the plan for Subit is to do everything even more automated. And the way to do that, we need more feedback than we get. So we are planning to involve the parents in a higher rate, so they actually can go to the scheme and they can click on a lesson that has been substituted and give it a rating. So when the kids come home and say, I had a substitute, I was watching a movie, well, they can go in and they can give a comment. So everything is transparent.
The kids would of course give a big smiley face, and the parents wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Subit. Let's just get a show of hands here. Who is either paid as a freelancer or contractor, or in the course of business does any dealings with paying a contractor or freelancer? All right, for that, we're going to kick it off with Neil at Paperwrk.
Thank you. Okay, who got served last night by bar staff or their web designer created their website for them? Their experience was typically a freelance one. A lot of people now are choosing the gig economy as their way of life. Now, sometimes that's by choice. Other times that's, for the millennials, their only option. This is a global phenomenon. Within the UK, there's 15% of the workforce right now, but in countries like South Africa, that is close to 95%. The problem really is not about scale, it's about the documentation, it's about the administration that they have to handle, it's about the NDAs they have to sign, the timesheets they have to process. And the challenge here is that these freelancers sometimes don't have the experience or the knowledge to deal with this. So we are Paperwrk. We solve this problem by streamlining the process from the freelancer's experience when they engage with the contractors to their clients and employers. What we do is we automate a lot of the process. So from the onboarding process to the delivery of the work and then management of that experience, we're GDPR compliant, and we provide a live service. We went live in January, and we have about 11,000 users right now. Sorry, 1,100 users are right now on the platform. But where we come into our own is we provide a lot of data points for those contractors. We go above and beyond kind of creating their invoices for them. What we do is we generate financial summaries. the one challenge that these freelancers have is they don't always manage, or they're working with spreadsheets in order to manage that process for them. So what we do is we give a breakdown of their financial liability, and this helps them to plan for the future. This is something that's quite critical, certainly in the UK, where only 16% of freelancers and contractors have a pension. So we're helping them through that process to plan for the future. We have a very, very simple way of actually booking time. We have an app coming later this year, and this is about trying to make the experience a lot simpler than filling in boxes on a timesheet. We integrate with a lot of third-party apps, so it extends the experience for the freelancers. It makes the agency experience and the employer experience richer for them in terms of the CRM integration and also for project management applications that they might utilize. But where we go above and beyond for the contractor is our financial kind of support. So we appreciate that there's a lot of time being spent chasing those invoices. There's a liability there. Nobody really likes ringing their client to ask for the money. So what we do is we have a service that provides a factoring. We can get that money to that contractor within less than 24 hours. We have a very simple subscription plan. So for the freelancers themselves who are engaging directly with for their clients, we have a very simple model and some upsell features there. And for SMEs, agencies, and startups, we have another package for them. Our go-to-market plan right now is to grow, and we are looking for investment. We've already raised 35%, but we're looking for investors, we're looking for partners, and we're looking for anybody that can be involved in this process. And if you know any freelancers, please, our ask is to send them over to paperwrk.net and we'll sign them up straight away. So thank you.
I did not get the last point. Exit plan 5 to 7 years. What does it mean?
We're looking really at a trade sale because we know that there's a lot of markets that require kind of technologies, and we're looking at partners that can provide us on that journey to look at an exit for that process. So rather than going IPO, we're looking at a kind of selling out to an organization or a business that's much more structured, that can integrate our service a lot cleaner than theirs.
How do you integrate? Do you integrate, and how, to the larger freelance networks who actually drive work for
So
freelancers?
with some of that, we haven't actually integrated. We're integrating with some of the platforms and tools rather than networks at the moment. We're engaged with some discussions with some of those businesses around APIs.
Yep.
So we've built already a timesheet API, but we're looking at further APIs that we can provide to them, or we'll ingest their API into our platform.
Great. And then, is it live already? How many users?
It's live, yes. We've been live since the beginning of the year.
So tell us a little bit more about your initial experience around users, usage of the system, satisfaction.
So obviously, you know, myself and my business partner, we've been contractors and freelancers for well over 15 years, so we've had a lot of experience in working with agencies and clients. And so we understood that, you know, this is a platform for them, rather than kind of the agency experience. So we kind of developed a tool that we knew would meet our kind of issues and pain points that we were experiencing on that road and that journey. We wanted to make it easier so these guys can do what they love without any of the risks for the future.
And how many users are there now?
As I say, we've got 1,100 users. That's a mixture of freelancers and agencies and their users and the clients.
Got it.
So
Great.
there's, you know, you mentioned free agent, for example, in your slide deck, you know, and so as you were speaking, I was thinking, well, aren't free agent, if they're not already doing this, just going to bolt it on as a service that they could do themselves? And you're already talking about trade sale, and I'm now starting to think, well, is this just because this is something that one of those other companies could do themselves? You're maybe just a step or two ahead.
I think free agents' experience is more around the financial management and the planning. You still have to kind of go through that process. Where we come into our own is around where we allow the contractors to manage the data themselves so they can share that kind of professional indemnity insurance and things with their engagement. That's something that free agents aren't looking at, so the legal and the compliance process. The other side of it is, you know, at the end of the day, they are working very much on the banking side. So we're generating the documents and the invoice, which free agent do, but we're helping the contractor plan for that future. And that's something, again, that free agent don't really do. They're an accountancy tool to figure out.
Is the invoice factoring, is that just subcontracted, or have you got an FCA license as well, or is that
That is
someone else?
subcontracted at the moment, yes. Yes.
Can you maybe just give one sentence or two about your go-to-market concept?
We have a sales strategy at the moment that's targeting a lot of the agencies and SMEs. And then we have a marketing plan that is very targeted towards the contractors and the freelancers to allow people to invite their friends and invite their family to that
so
network as well.
what is your growth goal for 18 and for 19?
Sorry?
What is your growth goal for 18 and 19? How much more users would you like to get on the platform?
We're aiming at 50,000 by 2020. Thank you.
All right, we're down to our very last pitcher here. Now, this is something that you're not going to hear a lot, especially in a pitch stage to investors, is marrying investing with the nonprofit world. And it's something that I think everybody can be excited about, which is democratizing everybody to take action to save our climate. So without further ado, here's Laszlo from Poseidon Foundation.
What if you could save the climate with your favorite ice cream? The problem we have is, no matter how much money you throw at the coolest tech you find out there, if the climate falls apart, your tech will fall apart. We know that we don't have much time to save our planet. We're in a really bad situation at the moment. And we also know that humans are responsible for a lot of the climate change we're seeing. That number there, we're cutting down 500 trees per second, every second. But we also know that we won't change society quickly enough. Ultimately, yes, but not fast enough. But what if we don't have to? What if we can continue doing the things we do now and save the planet? What if we can turn every purchase into climate action? So we have taken carbon credits, technology, and you to create for the first time an accessible and scalable climate action platform. We take carbon credits, which are instruments that are traditionally used to channel funding to forest conservation projects, and we put them onto a blockchain platform. This allows us to trace transparently these carbon credits from the forest protection projects all the way to you, where you can use them to offset or reduce the climate impact of your purchases. We then We then have an AI that allows us to, on the fly, quantify the climate impact of every product and purchase, and a second AI that allows us to select the appropriate offset project for your purchase. Most importantly, we're putting you in control. You will have an app that will allow you to see where your micro donations go so that you have full confidence that your money actually has the impact that you want it to have. The best part is, this is not a dream. Since May this year, we've been live at Ben & Jerry's in London, and with every scoop of ice cream that was sold there, trees were protected. For you car lovers, we also partnered with a British supercar manufacturer. Since they signed up with us, every car is climate action. And our biggest success so far is that we've signed up with Liverpool City Council. We're working directly with the mayor, and he has pledged to make Liverpool the first climate-positive city in the world using our platform. What we have done is we have created bite-sized climate action that allows you to save our planet. We're a passionate team, we have really powerful partners, and together we can still save the planet if we act now. Thank you.
Cool product. What is the financial investment if you deal with a potential customer?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
What is the money you have to spend to set it up?
Okay, so for us, we're live already. So we're entirely self-funded, mainly by myself. And we've been working for the last 1.5 years. As I say, since May, we're at Ben & Jerry's in London, so we've been working with Unilever. And we've so far invested about 2.5, 3 million. A lot of that money went towards carbon credits. The important part of our platform is that we pre-purchase the carbon credits. We put them on the blockchain platform. That's the only way that allows us to rebalance or reduce the carbon footprint of a product on the fly, right? So a lot of the money we have used, and that's also part of our fundraiser, 80% of everything we raise in the fundraiser goes to carbon credits, which gives us an asset backing. And also it means that so far, with the money we have invested already, we have saved over 20 million trees in an area that's about 24% larger than New York City in Cordillera Azul, which is part of the Peruvian Amazon, which is, just if I can add that, a really interesting project because you probably heard of the Sustainable Development Goals that the United Nations has put together. Those projects cover, the specific along Cordillera Azul covers 13 of the 17 SDGs, because we buy the highest level of carbon credits that also cover biodiversity and local community support.
How do you get this to mass adoption? Who would be your 3 favorite partners?
Favorite partner, what I dream about every day is for Amazon to call me up and say, let's integrate it there. Because the fastest way is through online channels. We can roll it out really, really quickly. We have a really long pipeline of people that want to partner with us. That's not the problem. Funding is more difficult, but our client pipeline is really long. It goes from, we're talking with petrochemicals, we're talking with retailers, we're going live with 2 shoe shops in Switzerland this year, and also an online store. We have an interesting pipeline of both the retail sector, so consumers, because we feel that is the market that can scale the fastest. We can really roll this out. But we're also talking with corporations and with governments who are very interested. So as I said, Liverpool City Council is a partner with us. They're pushing us a lot. We've been speaking with Shanghai. They're very interested. We're working with the government of Malta on a transportation pilot. And we're scaling quite quickly.
But you made a decision in your model to partner with corporations. They have to integrate your system, your software into the part of their payment mechanism rather than you could have integrated with the payment software itself. So whenever I make a payment anywhere, I kind of tick a box and activate a acquisition of a carbon credit. And that way, you wouldn't have had to partner with Ben & Jerry's or anyone else. You would have just had to get me to download the app and pay for it through my app.
Absolutely. I can answer that really quickly. The problem there is to accurately quantify the carbon footprint. We're working with the largest carbon footprint company called Carbon Trust, very respected. Like all of our partners, we've chosen the best ones in their field. And with Carbon Trust, we can ensure that the entire life cycle analysis of a product is done so that you can really turn a product into climate action.
So Visa or MasterCard or Amex would be partners too, to your point?
It is an area we've been looking at, but what we would like to do as we grow further is to create our own payment solution.
Got it. Yep.
All right, that's our final team. We have about 1 minute before we're going to be able to announce the winner. So before we do that, I'm just going to ask our panel of judges to just give a quick little shout out to what they're, again, the VC that they're coming from, and then also just a little bit of an overview about what's interesting to them right now in the VC world, what they're looking at investing in. So if we could just start with Joe, maybe you could just give a little reminder to us what VC you're coming from and then what you're interested in investing in right now.
Sure. So I'm a venture capital lawyer. Denton's a partner there. We're the largest global VC firm. We also run our own legal tech fund. So in terms of our proprietary investments, we're always looking at legal technology and investments in exactly some of the things that we've seen here in terms of things to improve the delivery of services. In terms of more broadly in the market, taking from my own sector as well, AI is clearly going to be the thing that really disrupts the provision of professional services. Thankfully, we're still a way off me losing a day job, but I think that will come, and to be honest, I welcome that. And I think all people who use their intellect ought to welcome that in a way to work with technology rather than resist it.
Sure. Thank you.
So as you know, Siemens, cool company. So I work here in Portugal, the country to be. I just want to generate some new ideas and running a IT operation, quite a big IT operation. We have now 600 people with us, growing to 1,000 hopefully in the next 18 months. So just guys, if you want to work for Siemens, if you want to work for a cool company, perfect spot.
Firefly Venture partners, so we're based in Silicon Valley, but I grew up in Switzerland, so we're building quite a bit of bridges between Europe and Silicon Valley for entrepreneurs. We are very interested, our thesis is very much on data and intelligence, so entrepreneurs who build their competitive advantage through data, which now sounds a little bit like a buzzword, but I think there's a lot of very challenging and interesting things going on in the next 5 years around data centralization, decentralization, around blockchain and so on. So we look at any entrepreneur, mostly on the enterprise side, who has a vision there.
So I have a question about the word AI, which has obviously come up a lot in today's stage, but obviously that means so many different things. When you see someone just talking about AI and machine learning, do you immediately think this is a buzzword, or do you think that this is still something interesting that somebody could just be, I don't know, for the first time coming into this space and feeling like they're just going to go in here, bring their solution to the market, and still have a chance to make some headway?
I mean, it's like all the pitches suddenly have an AI in it too, one page about AI. So we very quickly go down much deeper and see actually how it's approached and how the entrepreneur really thinks about it, how to leverage it in a longer term. So we look quite a bit under the hood on technology too, but yes, it's part of every pitch these days.
Exactly, yeah.
Look, for sure, it's a buzzword, and I mean, in a 3-minute pitch, you can't do anything more than have the buzzword. So, but I think in terms of true AI, there are very few out there. But that doesn't mean that it's something that should be disregarded. But you do need to be cautious, otherwise it just turns into calling yourself the Uber of whatever, or or just throwing in blockchain for the hell of it.
Yeah, well, what you said was, I guess, the way forward. Everyone speaks about it. It's a big buzzword, but I still believe there are a lot of opportunities which we have not discovered so far, and the train will go on and will go on and will go on.
But clearly AI is a huge topic. It's one of our core technology themes.
Of course. Yeah.
Deep tech as well, and blockchain too. I mean, there's the bubble burst, but I think, as always in technology, we overestimate the short term and then underestimate the long term. So I'm convinced in 15 years from now, we'll look back and say, here is the true impact of AI and blockchain, and what we did today looks like very little.
That's right. Exciting times ahead. I'm told that we do have our announcement now of the winners, so if I could just get all of our startup pitchers here on the stage with me. I've been given, I don't know the answer either, I've been given the slip of paper, so let's hope that we don't have a mistake of who's written on here. If I could just get one more big round of applause for all of our pitchers today. All right, without further ado, a little drum roll. Our winner today is Laszlo from Poseidon Foundation.